Linda Babcock, a Carnegie Mellon economist, ran the math. A 25-year-old who fails to negotiate their starting salary by just $5,000 loses over $600,000 by retirement. Not $5,000, $600,000. Why? Because every future raise, every cost of living adjustment, every bonus, and every 401k match is calculated as a percentage of that starting number. You're not just losing $5,000 once. You're losing it 28 times compounded. Salarycom surveyed 2,000 professionals. Only 37% always negotiate. 44% never bring it up at all. Meanwhile, the people who do negotiate get an average bump of $5,000 to $15,000 on offers under $100,000. That's a 5-minute conversation worth $500,000. Here's where most people get this wrong. They think negotiation is aggressive. They think it'll cost them the offer. JobVite's recruiter survey found the opposite. 84% of hiring managers expect candidates to negotiate. Only 7% ever rescind an offer because of it. The fear is statistically irrational. The script is simple. When the offer comes, you say, "Thank you, I'm excited about this role. Based on my research and the value I bring, I was targeting X is their flexibility." Then you stop talking. The first person to break the silence loses. ADP's Monthly Pay Insights report is one of the most underrated datasets in personal finance. The 2025 numbers are brutal. Workers who stayed in their jobs got an average annual raise of 4.6%. Workers who switched companies got 7.7%. In hot sectors like tech and finance, switchers averaged 14 to 22% jumps. Run that forward. Two professionals start at $60,000. The loyal one stays put and gets standard raises. The switcher moves every 3 years. After 20 years, the loyalist earns about $145,000. The switcher earns $260,000. The cumulative gap, including 401k contributions on the higher base, is over $480,000. Here's the counterintuitive part. Loyalty is financially punished. Companies budget for retention raises in the 3 to 5% range. They budget for new hires at market rate, which has been climbing 6 to 8% annually since 2021. The longer you stay, the further you fall behind your own market value. LinkedIn's data shows the median tenure at top-paying tech firms is 1.8 years. The mistake people make is staying for the next promotion or the vesting cliff. Run the actual math. If switching gets you a 15% raise and you're waiting on a 4% promotion, you're losing 11% for every year you delay. That's not loyalty. That's an unpaid tax on your career. Vanguard's 2024 How America Saves report tracked 5,401,000 participants. 22% of workers contribute below their employer match threshold. The average match left on the table is $1,336 per year per person. That's not a typo. People are walking past free money every paycheck. Compound that. A 30-year-old who skips $1,336 in match for 35 years at the historical S&P 500 return of 10% walks away with $362,000 less. That's a paid-off house. That's 8 years of retirement. Gone because nobody explained the form. The match is the highest guaranteed return in finance. A typical 50% match on the first 6% of salary is an instant 50% return on your contribution. Warren Buffett's lifetime annualized return is around 19.9%. Your employer match beats Buffett on day one every year with zero risk. Where people get this wrong, they think they can't afford to contribute. The actual cost on a $70,000 salary contributing 6% is roughly $134 per paycheck after the tax deduction. That $134 becomes $268 the moment it hits the account. Then it compounds for 30 years. If your employer offers a Roth 401k option and you're under 35, take it. You're paying tax now at the lowest rate you'll likely ever see, and every dollar grows tax-free for life. Here's the trap. People think career growth means collecting certifications, attending workshops, becoming well-rounded. The data says the opposite. Burning Glass Institute analyzed 100 million job postings. Workers with one elite-level skill earned 28 to 47% more than workers with 5 intermediate skills in the same role. The Bureau of Labor Statistics ranks the highest-paid skill premiums for 2025. Cloud architecture pays a 38% premium. Machine learning engineering pays 42%. Specialized financial modeling pays 31%. Cybersecurity threat analysis pays 35%. These aren't degrees. They're specific, deep, technical capabilities most people refuse to grind for because the learning curve is steep. Cal Newport calls this deep work in his Georgetown research. Ali Abdaal's framework is similar. Pick one skill that takes 1,000 to 2,000 hours to master, that has real economic demand, and that compounds with experience. That's 2 years of deliberate practice. The lifetime value, according to Brookings Institution wage data, ranges from $400,000 to $1.1 million in additional earnings. This is the psychological trap. Mediocrity feels safe because it's never tested. Specialization feels risky because you have to be measurably good. But the market doesn't pay for well-rounded. It pays for irreplaceable. The dentist with one specialty earns triple the general practitioner. The developer who knows distributed systems cold earns double the full-stack generalist. Pick your hill and own it for 24 months. This is where ordinary careers become wealthy careers. Salary is taxed as ordinary income. Equity is taxed at long-term capital gains, often 15 to 20%. The math difference alone is enormous, but the real story is appreciation. The first 100 employees at Stripe, hired at standard market salaries, ended up with equity packages that, at the company's $95 billion valuation, averaged $4 to $14 million per person. The first 30 employees at Airbnb walked away with packages between $7 million and $35 million. They didn't found these companies. They negotiated for shares. You don't need a unicorn. The Carta 2024 State of Equity Report shows the median software engineer at a Series B startup receives 0.05 to 0.15% equity, which on a successful exit at $500 million is worth $250,000 to $750,000. Even at established public companies, RSU grants at firms like Microsoft, Adobe, and Salesforce average $30,000 to $80,000 annually for senior staff. 5 years of those grants with stock appreciation regularly add $400,000 to $600,000 to net worth. The mistake here is binary thinking. People treat equity like lottery tickets and refuse to negotiate for it, or they accept tiny grants without asking for more. The framework: every senior offer should include equity, the vest should cliff at 1 year, not 4, and you should always ask for accelerated vesting on acquisition. These 3 terms alone can shift outcomes by hundreds of thousands of dollars. Remote work changed the wealth equation permanently. The Council for Community and Economic Research tracks cost of living indexes across 269 metropolitan areas. The spread between San Francisco and Knoxville, Tennessee, is 162%. A $130,000 salary in Knoxville delivers the same purchasing power as $340,000 in San Francisco. Now apply that. If you can keep a coastal tier salary while living in a low cost of living state, you don't get a raise, you get a wealth transfer. The savings rate jumps from 8% to 35% overnight. A FlexJobs analysis of remote workers who relocated showed median annual savings increases of $24,000 to $51,000. Compounded over 20 years at 8% returns, that delta builds an additional $1.1 million to $2.4 million in net worth. The job didn't change. The skill didn't change. The zip code did. States with no income tax like Texas, Florida, Tennessee, Washington, and New Hampshire amplify this further. A New York City worker earning $150,000 pays roughly $11,000 in state and city income tax. Move that same job to Austin, and that $11,000 becomes invested capital every single year. The mistake is sentimental geography. People stay in expensive cities for reasons that don't survive a spreadsheet. Run your numbers. Calculate your savings rate by zip code. The math is rarely close. The wealthiest professionals in the next decade will be the ones who treated location as a financial decision, not an emotional one. CTA, 30 seconds. If you want more breakdowns like this with hard numbers and zero fluff, subscribe right now. This channel exists for one reason: to show you exactly how money actually compounds and where the leverage points hide. Every video is a step toward financial independence on accelerated timeline. Hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, and the next upload will land in your feed the moment it's published. Your future net worth will thank you. Outro 30-45 seconds. Here's your challenge for today. Pick one of these 6 moves and take action in the next 24 hours. Open your 401(k) portal and check your contribution percentage. Pull up your state tax burden and compare it to a no-tax state. Update your resume to reflect the one skill you're going to master. Whatever you choose, do it before you close this app. Compound interest only rewards the people who start. Every day you wait is a day your future self pays the bill. The math is unforgiving, but it's also generous. Start today. The next $500,000 of your life is sitting in one of these 6 decisions, waiting for you to claim it.